Since I've been a mother.
For the past 30 years, it's quite a time.
I'm sure it was the first Mother's Day after Matthew was born. Well, Mike works every Sunday, so he worked every Mother's Day so far. This will be the first Mother's Day he hasn't worked.
In 30 years?
Since I've been a mother, yeah. So, like I said, the first Mother's Day was the most meaningful because probably is for every mother, because it's the first time you're a mother on Mother's Day. So, really, Willa came over, and I still have the vase. And I don't really remember what all we did, but we probably went out to eat. And of course, Matthew was an infant because he was born in December, and that was May. And he's delayed, right? So he wasn't doing all the things that other 6-month-olds were doing, but close. He wasn't that far away. And I'm pretty sure this wasn't necessarily attached to Mother's Day, but it was about the same time. Matthew was about 6 or 7 months old. One of my favorite memories of being a mother was when Willa and I and Matthew went to Fort Payne and one of the camps there, just like we rented which I'm sure Willa did, rented a cabin. And so like I said, it was either early summer, late spring, and we were just going to be there for 2 or 3 days. And Matthew started running a really high fever, which he had done before. And it was just a viral kind of thing. But it was really high, and we were out there in the woods. So we took him to the emergency room at the local hospital, which was teeny tiny, not very sophisticated. When it took him in the emergency room, and really nice, very young male doctor talked about whatever his symptoms were, and Will and I were both there, and we took care of the insurance stuff, and so he's looking at Matt. Anyway, he asked when we first noticed his symptoms, and sort of odd questions he was asking, because he thought that he was going to have to break the bad news that Matthew had Down syndrome. And of course, we were just taking it. It turned out to be a sore throat, which was a viral thing. So it really wasn't. And the fever went away. But it was just so hilarious to us because he kept dancing around the idea that maybe he had Down syndrome, which is pretty studious because, especially when he was an infant, he didn't have the typical features of babies with Down syndrome. But this doctor, young doctor, caught on to it that he might have Down syndrome, but he thought he was breaking it to us for the first time that he had Down syndrome. So it was just a funny shared memory between me and Willa.